So good morning,
So good
beautiful
morning,
people.
beautiful people.
Um,
Um,
Mr. Roman, your very
Mr. Roman,
own
your very own.
I like you
I like you
from Kiosha Academy
from Kiosha Academy
HSE. Happy New
HSE.
Year to you
Happy New
all.
Year
It's
to you all. It's
for us has
for
really
us
been
has really been
a long,
a
long holiday.
long holiday.
In order not to take
In order
too
not to
much of
take
your
too much
time,
of your time,
let's get straight to
let's get straight
business.
to business.
I
I
Like I said yesterday,
Like I said yesterday, I got information that
exam links were
exam
sent
links were
to all
sent
of
to
you.
all of you.
So basically,
So
we want to
basically, we
discuss
want
the
to
last
discuss
part
the
of the
last part of the
HSE, that is
HSE, that
level
is level
3,
3,
as well as
as well
discuss
as
exam
discuss exam
properly in
properly
case you
in
don't
case you don't
understand
understand
um,
um,
the concept
the concept
well.
well.
So I
So
draw
I draw
the
the
ball
ball
open to the
open
court.
to the court.
Is there any
Is there
question
any
or any
question or any
difficulty faced so
difficulty
far,
faced so far,
including the HS
including
1
the
and 2?
HS 1
It's
and
not only
2? It's
limited
not
to
only
the
limited
HSC
to HSC
3.
3.
I'll ask you,
I'll
Mr.
ask you, Mr.
Tohib, do
Tohib,
we have
do you
any
have any
challenge?
challenge?
Um, Good morning, sir. Good
Morning.
morning, everyone.
No,
Compliments of the season
Same to you.
to
literally.
everyone. Okay, yeah, I do. I do have questions.
All right.
Right?
Okay, so on Lotto,
All right.
so
All right.
there was this incident I experienced. So the engineer, though he has done all the necessary parts, he has Lotto, then he entrusted the key
Okay.
to one
Okay.
of his supervisors while him is doing the maintenance on a machine. Like
Okay.
he's doing
Okay.
maintenance on roller dryer. So
Okay.
is it
Okay.
advisable for you to like give key to someone else, be it your supervisor or your colleague? Though he has reasons of doing that. He
What are
said
his
What
it
are
reasons?
his
might probably
reasons?
he said he needs to be like safety conscious and all that. The key might probably fell or dropped from his pocket. So to avoid that, he said he has to like entrust the key to his supervisor. And meanwhile, during that period, his supervisor is not with him. Like his supervisor is not even closer by to him at all. So is this safety okay? Like, is it okay to like entrust your padlock, your little padlock key to someone else, be it your supervisor or your colleague, while you are doing the maintenance, you are still doing the maintenance on the machine?
A
Is
very
it
good
okay?
Very
question
good
you've
question
asked,
you've
Mr.
asked,
Toyi.
Mr. Choi.
Um,
Um,
like both of
like both of
us know
us
it,
know it,
it is not
it is
okay.
not okay.
It is not
It is
okay.
not okay.
I say it again,
I
it
say
is
it
not
again, it is
okay.
not okay.
A lot of things
A
can
lot
go
of things
wrong.
can go wrong.
The
The
supervisor,
supervisor,
as you said,
as you said,
is not
is not
at the scene
at the scene
of
of
the lotto,
the lotto,
at the scene
at the
of where
scene
work is
of where work
performed.
is performed.
The
The
supervisor might
supervisor
as well
might
be
as
careless
well
with
be
the key
careless with the
too,
key
and
too,
another person
and
will
another
pick it
person
up.
will pick it up.
Somebody with higher
Somebody with
ranking
higher
will
ranking pick it up
and go
and
and
go and
remove the lotto
remove the
that has been
lotto
set.
that has been set.
Although
Although
what the
what the
sorry, what
sorry,
the
what
person
the
said
person
is
said
reasonable,
is reasonable,
but it doesn't still
but it
give
doesn't still give
such
such
an
an
excuse,
excuse,
a genuine
a
reason for
genuine
handing the
reason
key
for
over to
handing
another
the key
person.
over to another person.
I will have
I will have
suggested, which
suggested,
is actually the
which
best
is
option,
actually the best option.
him. I will
Him,
have suggested
I will have
him
suggested
keeping the
him
key
keeping the key
at a safe
at
place
a
where
safe
only
place
him
where
has
only
access to.
him has access to.
Probably his
Probably is
locker.
locker,
Probably his
probably is
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 a place just assigned to
a place
only
just
him that
assigned
will
to
not
only him that
that
will
any
not
other person
that
won't
any
have
other
access to.
person will have access to.
Aside that, there
Aside
are
that, there
coveralls
are
that
coveralls
have
that have
big
pockets, big pockets that you can seal off the mouth, that the key won't fall easily, depending on the work that needs to be done.
But be that as
But be that as it
it
is not
very reasonable
very reasonable
for him to hand
for him to hand over the key
to
to someone else.
I believe you
I
understand.
believe you understand.
All right, yes, I understood. Got it. So, such person, what should like, what should happen to such person? Do the person need to be coached or what?
Definitely,
Definitely, you have to retrain
the person.
the person.
You have to
educate the person.
The person has to know.
The person has to know reason why the lotto is being done. The reason why the lotto is being done is because nobody is supposed to be trusted except yourself.
That is the
That's the essence of lotto.
You understand?
You understand? Nobody
is supposed to be trusted.
is supposed to be trusted. And again, mistake can happen and can happen to anybody, but it is going to be almost impossible
for you to claim
that you
made a mistake
if you are the one that lotoed the place.
You understand?
At least for you to remove the lotto, you have to come out of the place and re-energize whatever machine or equipment or workspace you are working.
And for you to
be the one to re-energize it.
Of course,
you can't tell me that you don't know that the place is re-energized.
So
the chances of accident happen is almost zero.
But when you start giving
the key
to another person,
the whole bunch of the key.
Now that is
increasing the possibility of risk.
Lotto.
In some cases, the padlock. In some cases, has up to 6 holes, of which each padlock, the key to each padlock will be with different people. That means 6 different people must be around for that lotto can be removed.
That is how serious
lotto can be in some cases.
So when you say
you
just hand over
all the key to somebody, it is not so. Yeah.
So best bet is
that you retrain the person, tell the person why lotto is essential and what to do in case he or she finds himself in such a case again.
All right.
Any other question?
Mr. Samuel, welcome.
Any
other question?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Any other question,
Mr. Choi?
Okay, can I ask my own question?
Mr. Toib,
can he ask his own question?
I guess Mr.
Toib has a network issue.
Mr.
Samuel, go on.
Okay. I came across the key aims of risk assessments.
Okay.
And we talked about prioritizing the risks and make all. Now, I know about prioritizing risks, meaning that you rank them from ascending to descending order, right?
Yeah.
Now, for the make all risks small, how do you make the risks very small? Because that's where I really understand.
All right. Let me
start with
the
making the risk in priorities.
Yeah.
That word is a bit
funny.
Now, what am I trying to say? For each risk, there is level of priority assigned to it.
That means there is always a risk greater than the other. That's why we need to prioritize all of this risk. You get?
For example, electric hazard will be of higher priority
compared to
household hazard or household risk. Household risk is when the workplace is not
properly tidied.
So you need to
prioritize all of this risk
to be able to
treat the most critical ones first, followed by the lesser till you get to the least.
Now, when we want to make a risk
smaller,
how do we do that?
It's so simple.
You first
need to go through your risk assessment.
After
identifying the risk, you will assess it.
It's depending
on the risk you are talking about now.
Then how do you make it smaller?
How do you make each risk smaller?
By
applying the risk control measures, of which we have 5 of them. Number one being the
risk
removal.
That means
elimination control.
By the
very moment you eliminate the control, you've already made the risk smaller. Mind you,
like you rightly said
in the first in your first question,
or when you started
asking the question,
this
has to happen in priority.
The
Yorubas do say something
that you can't
leave
leprosy and say
you want to cure eczema.
You get? You can't leave leprosy
and say you want to cure eczema. Of course, you have to first cure the leprosy first
before
you find solution to the eczema.
And that is what priority.
Solve the toughest one, the one that can lead to death.
If you can solve
the one that can lead to death first, then you solve the one that can cause major injury. Then solve the one that can cause minor injury. Then solve the one that can just cause slight injury. Following that. After applying
the
elimination control,
if it's workable,
then you are good to go. You've already made the risk smaller. But if the elimination control can't work, because it's not in all cases, the elimination control will work. Elimination control can sometimes be very expensive. Elimination control can at times mean that work will not even happen again.
For example,
if you are working with a product that is hazardous, and that material is actually the key material of your production.
By the
time you remove that material,
that means
there's no more work.
So in that case,
elimination control cannot work again.
So what do you then
do? You go to the next risk control measure.
And what is that?
That is the substitution control.
That means replacing that hazard that is causing risk,
or replacing that thing that is causing risk.
You understand?
Replacing it to a lesser risky option.
But at the same time,
it is not in all cases that this works.
Then you go to
number 3 in case 1 and 2 is either expensive or not feasible to achieve.
Number 3 is
the engineering control.
And what do we understand
by the engineering control? The engineering control, as you know it, is when you use engineering method to isolate man from hazard.
That means
the removal of man from that thing that is risky. Replacing man with machine.
You understand? And by
isolating man from the hazard or from the risk, even if any accident will happen, man will be safe.
The
machine will be the one to bear the brunt.
By so
doing, he also made the risk smaller.
This also is
also expensive.
Case
It can be done.
Then you go to
the administrative control,
which
is
the
organization putting in policies and measures
to
reduce
risk
or to make the risk smaller, as you put it
when you were
asking. Now,
by
adapting or by adopting measures like job rotation, that means when a certain set of people do the work for a certain time and pass the baton to another set of people to do it at a particular time too, that will also reduce risk.
Another
administrative control measure is also regular breaks at work.
For example,
if you are working with a chemical now, there's no other option than for you to work with the chemical.
You will
agree with me that if you work with the chemical for 4 hours
and
you take a break,
it is
going to be better than you working for
8 hours
straight off
inside that chemical.
You get. So regular breaks on duty
is also an
administrative way of controlling or reducing the risk. By setting in place
safety
signs and symbols to educate you the do's and don'ts at that particular workplace is also an administrative control.
By training
those that will be working there and ensuring that experts work there is also an administrative control. So
doing all of this
together will also help in minimizing or reducing or making risk small. Lastly is the use of the PPE. That's the personal protective equipment.
By
effective, underline the word effective. By effectively using the PPE, you will at a
big
rate reduce the
risks
that are presently on site.
Now let me let you know
this, that PPE is actually not the best solution. It is the least preferred solution. PPE is only to be administered when other options are being exhausted.
I see that you went
out of it, but I've answered it duly.
I am
recording this class as I speak.
I'm
also going to be sharing the video with you
at the end of the class.
Alright. Let me make sure.
I
understand.
Do you have any other
questions?
Mr. Toyi,
do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
So, on fire safety and prevention. So, let's assume maybe the building is on fire. The entire building.
Alright.
So, you have an emergency exit. You evacuate your workers out.
Okay.
Like the assembly point. Then you make a roll call list. Then you find out maybe 2 or 3 people are missing. So as a safety personnel, at that moment, what are you expected to do? Are you expected to go inside the building because the entire building is on fire? Are you expected to go inside and start looking for the missing people? Or we have changed personnel, like maybe the researcher team and all. Like you them, what are we expected to do at that moment? Or we have a special to like go inside and look for the missing.
The Yorubas to say something
that
Ọ̀rọ̀ ó so similar no obviously. It's actually a technical question to ask.
But
As technical as it may be, there is simplicity to it.
What is it?
What is it? Are you trained
as
a researcher to search for people
in
case there's fire outbreak?
That is number one.
Second question.
Are you a firefighter?
Are you a firefighter?
There's a
difference in learning how to use fire extinguisher and being
a
firefighter.
I learned
firefighting at the Ogun State Firefighting service
for 6 months.
For 6 months.
And even at
that, I can't boldly say that I am qualified.
Despite passing all
the exams and passing all the safety drills and passing all the fire drills, I can't boldly say that I am an expert.
Why?
Because I have not been in a real life situation.
That is what
experience brings to the ball game.
You understand?
I have not been in the real life situation where people actually are in need
of rescue
and there's panic everywhere.
I might be able to
keep my cool on the drill ground, but in the real life situation, will I be able to keep my cool?
You understand? So
are you a firefighter?
Going back into the building
will only put your own life at risk. Please don't go back. Don't let us copy American movies, Hollywood. That at that point there will be this guy with big chest and say, "Oh,
Mary is inside.
I have to say Mary."
You go inside the fire.
Then you go inside the fire and inside the building, and you go and get Mary. You will try and escape with Mary.
As you are entering inside,
the fire will not come to you. But after you found Mary, Mary is coughing on the floor. You are now bringing Mary outside. Then the fire starts coming towards you. The building starts collapsing. Then you shall escape. Then immediately you jump out of the door. The whole building collapses. That's only
American film.
That's the only fictional.
The fire too will not come to the scene and act according to your instruction. So it is best that you don't go in to save
whoever you want to save.
Meanwhile, how are you even sure that the person is inside?
What if the person left the scene?
What if the person was in another department? So you really cannot tell. So instead of losing two persons. No, instead of losing three persons rather. That is when you go and look for them. It is still fairer, although it is dark, but it is still fairer to lose two persons than three. Meanwhile, you might enter
those two persons you want to go and see.
They find out
that they are not even in the building.
So the best you can do
for them is keep on sounding the alarm.
And keep on
sounding the alarm. Before that there should be fire drills. Emergency response program. You should practice it.
I guess it was December
last year. I went to an organization, a big organization, multinational organization. Actually, they are the one that makes all this Ribena and Lucozade Boost and so many other drinks.
So all of a sudden, there was a fire alarm trigger. You know. And everybody ran out. Of course, I was included. They ran to the muster point. the assembly point.
The assembly point.
You understand?
You understand?
But it turned out that
the fire alarm that was raised was actually a false alarm.
But the point is, one of them now asked.
They would have done different fire drill. They would have done it so many times.
But one of them still asked the question that
what if we enter
and the fire drill comes up?
We know that it is false.
Then their safety
supervisor told them that even though it is 100 times that the fire alarm keeps triggering,
they must
come out because they never know when the real fire will happen.
Why did I bring this point?
If
these two persons
that are trapped inside have been properly trained in the fire field, that if they hear the fire alarm, they must come out.
They won't
need to be dragged if the real fire happens.
They know what to do. In fact, the safety department and the management must sanction people that don't come out in case fire alarm gets triggered. I hope you get me.
Oh, yes.
Do you have any other question?
Lady Kemi, in case you have your question, you can just easily throw it in. You can type it in the comment section if you can't talk.
Mr.
Adeshola,
it
has been a long time since we've seen.
How are you? We can't hear you. Mr. Toyib. Any other question?
Hello? No question for now.
None for now. Okay.
None for
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Mr.
Adeshola. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm fine, sir.
Do you have any question?
Do you have any question for us?
I know you've
overread the book. You've read the front to the back. You've read the back to the front.
You can quote it.
But do you have any questions? Sir?
Okay, just like the enclosed area.
Okay.
That's confined space.
Yeah, the confined space. So there are some examples that was given in the confined space, just like the hole, the pipe. But my question is this: does it need to check the air, the kind of the energy of
oxygen level
of the worker before going in?
Energy is different
from
air level. Let me explain
one by one.
Okay. Energy is
more or less
electricity
or something that is powering something.
Before you enter
a confined space, you have to switch off the energy source, or make sure that the energy does not you don't get yourself tangled in the energy source.
Because if you enter a vessel that is energized, one can get electrocuted. Now, for the air level pressure you check, actually you have to check the air. It is a must that you check the air. You are not only checking the oxygen level of the place, you are also checking the pressure. The air pressure.
Okay.
There was
a time I was watching this documentary.
These ocean divers. Do you know the air pressure down the ocean is different from the air pressure at the top of the ocean. Now, if you dive down to the ocean, you wear your mask, your diving suit. You now dive to the bottom of the ocean. Diving to the bottom of the ocean is as tall as Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain in Africa. In fact,
In fact,
there's a
particular depth, I guess, in the Pacific Ocean that is as tall
as
Mount Everest itself, which is the tallest platform in the world.
If you put
Mount Kilimanjaro inside that depth of the Pacific Ocean,
it will
swallow Mount Kilimanjaro.
You understand?
So
let's imagine you swim
down deep that place, or you seem to have of that place.
If you just
swim up back
to the top level,
to the surface level rather,
the person might die.
It's not the person might die. The person will actually die. The person will implode
because the pressure
has changed.
People that do such diving,
they first enter into a vessel,
into a
submarine
and
vessel,
they gradually
change the air pressure
till
it becomes normal with normal surface pressure.
So you have to check
air pressure.
You understand?
You don't just
jump into a place
or jump into a confined space without testing the air pressure.
At the same time, you have to
test the oxygen. Why do you need to test the oxygen?
You have to test
how rich the oxygen is. Is the oxygen too much
or
too less?
An oxygenated
environment can actually kill you.
Yes, I'm sure you are wondering.
How come?
If in the environment
as you are now, your environment has about I guess 16% of oxygen present in it.
Now, if that 16%
increase to 100%, that means if you have pure oxygen in your environment,
if you stay in that
environment in 24 hours, the person will die.
If it is lesser than that 16%, the person will die. The person will suffocate. The person won't be able to breathe. In oxygen. Because you know our body needs oxygen. The brain needs oxygen to perform. Blood cells
needs oxygen to perform. So you need to check also other things that are present inside the air.
Is there nitrogen
there? Is there hydrogen there? Any other atmospheric presence in the air? You have to test everything to know that your body can actually survive such a place.
I round it up
by giving this example.
I went to train them in an
organization. Actually, the organization, they are into oil and gas.
So they
bought this tank
so that they can store fuel inside. So they bought the tank. They shipped the tank
from another country to Nigeria.
But there was a day they've not started putting anything in the tank. So the safety supervisor or the manager, I guess, told one of his boys,
oh yeah,
go and check that tank.
What is inside? Is there anything inside?
And that one to
innocently went
and opened the tank
and
entered the tank
and he died in the tank.
Yes, he died in the tank. The manager also wondering why is this guy taking long? Also, godly
went into the tank,
and of course,
what is good for the goose is good for the gander. He also died
in the tank. It was then that they now tested what was in the tank. Actually, there was nothing in the tank. But the thing they used the tank in containing was actually hazardous substances. You understand? So they had to call where they bought the tank from
for
detailed information
about
what they use
the
the
tank, what they use the tank for, and how to clean it.
So it was then
that the organization now sent the material safety data sheet to them, and how to eradicate the content
of that vessel or that
tank. So
what am I trying to say?
All in all, whatever confined space you want to enter, especially vessels, pipes, tanks,
you need to test the atmospheric pressure.
You need to test the atmosphere. You need to test the air.
Any other question?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Did you understand first and foremost?
Yes, sir. Yes, I understand. My other question is this. Fire prevention plan.
All right.
Okay, my question is can a safety officer be a fire workman, or it is different?
Yes, you can be.
If
you are trained.
You can be.
If you are
well trained,
you can be. But you know, this thing is now
relative.
Even after the training, you may still not be able to perform the function. For example, if you are easily scared, or if you panic easily, fire is not an easy thing to tackle.
It is said that the intensity of fire increases every 60 seconds. It doubles.
What am I trying to say? That means the
rate at which the fire is burning, it increases every 60 seconds. It doubles.
That means if it's burning small,
in the next 60 seconds it will times to that rate. The next 60 seconds it will times to that rate again till it will get out of hand.
So you must be a very courageous person.
You must be that person that does not panic easily. All of these two are part of the training.
You must be that person
that can
handle pressure, because a lot of people
attacking you. They want results from you. So you must be able to be calm to face the situation.
I hope you get that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? No question. Okay, let's speedily run to exam. I already sent you a couple of
videos to get your exam done.
But I would advise that you go through all the materials. Mr. Olariwaju, I will advise you to go to the website to access the materials there. You might find more questions there. I've advised you to go to the ending of each course material and treating the question. It will help you in your theory. Aside that, a link came alongside the email that you were sent with. That link is practice question for objective multi-choice option question. You can do it as many times as possible. Also, endeavor to have strong internet connection. Ensure you have strong internet connection when you are writing the exam. Remember that whatever you answer there is going to be submitted when you click the submit button. That is all your questions. You are uploading it to the database when you click the submit button. So when you click the submit button and your network is not strong, it will only be buffering and it will not submit. That means you need to retake the exam again. In order to avoid this, kindly make sure you have strong internet connection.
Okay, sir. About the exam, sir.
All right.
About the exam, sir, is it a combination of theory and objective?
The exam is
The
actually
exam is
divided
actually
into three,
divided into
but
three,
you'll be doing
but you'll be
two
doing two
on the
on the
website.
websites.
That is the theory
That is the
Okay.
theory
and the objective. You
and the
answer the
objective. You
objective
answer the
first.
objective first.
When you're done with
When
that,
you're done with that,
you go to the
you
theory.
go to the theory.
The objective
The objective is
an average of
an
100
average of 100
questions.
questions.
Sometimes
It might not be up to 100 questions. It might
80
be
questions.
80 questions.
But when you see
the last button
just
submit, just submit.
You understand?
You understand?
Then the theory
is
an average of
10 questions. It might be lesser,
probably 8 or 9.
It
It might be more. Probably 11 or 12.
Probably 11 or 12.
But just know that
it is that
each
question
have
subordinate questions.
Like the
Yorubas will say Ogbomopo.
Question 1
might be 1A,
1A1,
1B1,
1B2,
1B2. You understand?
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir. About
Mr. Samuel,
Mr. Samuel,
about the exam. Can we
Yeah.
actually take it
Yeah.
online?
you can take it
you can take it anytime.
I don't know the time
they sent the date is sent to you,
from
but
the start
from the start date,
starting from
12 in the morning, 12
midnight
in the morning
till
till
the last day
12
midnight
at night. You can write
the exam anytime you want. Any other question? Hello? Can you guys still
Hello?
hear me?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Good.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm
Good.
with you.
Sir,
Yes, I'm with you.
concerning the risk assessment project,
Yeah?
someone was telling, can we actually
Yeah.
take it in school also?
Yes, you can take it.
Can we perform risk assessment?
Yes, you can
You
take
can
it.
run it in a school.
You can run it
The
in
only
a
thing
school.
is that
The
wherever
only
you want
thing
to
is
do
that
your risk assessment,
wherever
make
you
sure
want
they
to
have
do
more
your risk
than
assessment,
five
make sure they have
staff.
more than 5,
At least
staff.
5 staff. So
At
if
least 5
the
staff.
workplace you want to do it as
So if the
more than
workplace you want
5
to do it
staff,
as
you can run your risk assessment
more than
there.
5 staff, you can run your risk assessment there.
Another thing is that
Another thing is that the risk assessment should be submitted
or before
on
the ending of this month.
or before the ending of this month.
The
The
template
to do that has already been sent to
examination group.
the examination group.
But peradventure you have any question,
on it, you can always ask me anytime.
Any other question?
Any other question?
Do we have any other question? I guess we don't have question. In order for us to enjoy our Saturday,
guess we should call it
I wish all of you
a day. I wish all of you the very best of luck
in your exam.
in your exam. Read. If you don't read, there's no secret about it. One can actually feel it. One can actually feel it.
Some people do say
that most persons say the theory is actually harder or more complex
as compared to
the multi-choice option that's objective.
But I tell you
that if you read well, everything
will be as simple
as ABC.
Guess we have to come
to the end of the class.
Or do we have any other question?
Star Olariwaju, do you have any other question?
Oh, no, sir, I don't have any other question.
Mr.
Samuel, are you good?
Yeah, good.
Mr.
Toib, what about you?
Yes, everywhere is good.
Lady Oluwakemi,
I guess you are good
I
too.
guess you are good too. You said you'll be listening.
But
if
there's any question,
you can ask on the exam
so that everybody
can also get to
and learn from your question.
Have a splendid weekend.
Thank you, sir.
And you too, sir.
All right.
All right.